What's up, guys? Today I want to do a comparison and discussion video about what I consider the best 5 female blank body that we got recently. They are Romankey X Cowl, Crazy Figure, Fury Toys, Nottaa Toys, and Whalework/X Cocoon. I'll go over them one by one and talk about what I like about them, what I don't like about them, and you can draw the conclusion by yourself. All right, let's first go into Romankey X Cowl. These figures are what I consider that started the popularity of the smaller scale blank bodies. There are blank bodies made before them, but not nearly as popular, and most of them are for 1/6 scale. Even though these are relatively old, like coming out 3 years ago, they are still very good and competent figure by today's standard. The body is very lean and fit, and also very stylized. You can look at how thick their thighs are and how lean their shins are. The articulation cut is similar to Amazing Yamaguchi in the sense that the cuts follow the muscle group movement, so it looks really natural and dynamic when posed. I'm only going to take a quick look at the articulation because they've probably been reviewed to death by now. Right? Very good torso range. The shoulder articulation is actually pretty unique because the shoulder blade has a ball joint connected to the back, and the actual arm connected on the shoulder blade via a ball joint to essentially simulate the shoulder blade movement on human. I feel like this is one of the 2 ways of doing great butterfly joint on female figures. Right? You either have to lift the arms over the breast. This is Amazing Yamaguchi Female Titan, or use soft PVC. A bad example will be Marvel Legends Psylocke. The butterfly joint is placed way too low and not a ball joint, so she can't really lift the arm over the breast. So this butterfly joint is pretty much useless. And Mayfix is a little bit better, but since there's no soft overlay, she can only bend forward this much. Okay, I feel like this design is probably more inspired by Kotobukiya's Megami Device shoulder. You can take at the shoulder blade. Okay, there's a ball joint connected to the chest, and the actual ball socket is here. So she also has pretty great range, especially considering this is a model kit and all of it are hard plastic. Okay, the biggest weakness that I would consider on Romankey X Cowl figure is that the hip is not particularly good. Like, it's not bad, but considering how fierce the competitions are, it's not good enough. For example, you can barely kick to 90, a little bit back, and kick to the side, can't kick to 90 either. And this is not very good looking. And also the extra cut under the chest, it's all right. I don't mind it, but I know some people who don't. And of course, the shoulder blade butterfly joint, again, I don't mind it, and it has great range, but I don't think a lot of people, well, there's a certain amount of people that don't like it. And also the neck can be an issue if you want to use the head, because the scope around the neck makes it really hard to put on head. That's when the ball joint is really deep inside the head. Okay, in terms of accessories, it's okay. Come with plenty of hand and swappable chest and swappable leg. No shoes and clothes though, which is a bummer. I also want to talk a little bit about the, how should we call it? The spiritual successors of these figures. The designer that made this figure at the Romankey back in the day was Venchar. He's now working at InArt, making those 112/110 InArt action lines. And he also maintained his own personal line, which, as you might guess, is called Cowl Production. And last year, his Oni girl was put on pre-order, and you can clearly tell his personal style that's very similar to these figures. Romankey himself is also making their own female blank bodies. One is called Mira, and the one unnamed that's still work in progress with articulated breasts. And lastly, Snailshell actually licensed Cowl Productions' articulation design to make their own EXP blank body, which will be used on their own Oni girl. I think pre-order should coming soon. Yeah, they announced it on Twitter. And Venchar is also reviving his own muscle female body under InArt. So it'll be interesting to see how they fare against each other. And this figure also comes with 3 skin tones. Okay, let's take a look at the crazy figures. This figure is also relatively old because it came out a bit after Romankey. In terms of design, this figure is almost unimpressive. The body is very plain and tubular, has almost no muscle definition, and the joint is it moves pretty good, but it's not very good looking. It's mostly about functionality instead of aesthetic. The biggest feature of this body is that it uses a lot of soft overlay on the torso. So even though the neck is a single long ball joint, still has great range. Shoulder, just a simple ball socket. Again, great range. The studio designed this body is now more commonly known as Bro Toys. They used to make military themed soft goods figures, but now has transitioned to primarily make unlicensed third-party video game characters, including the most recent female spy, aka RE4 remake Ada Wong. Now you can tell why these figures are designed the way it is. The tubular body means you're gonna have an easier time putting on the soft good. The joint cut and the muscle definition doesn't really matter that much when they are all covered up. Soft overlay means you can still have good articulation while maintaining the silhouette. Bicep cut and the side cut, you can hear is rounded and curved inward, so you won't risk damaging the soft goods when you are twisting them. Okay, and the ankle is dumbbell instead of ball joint, so you can hide the articulation point better. I think probably 95% of Mezco figure does this. Yo-Yo is 95% the same with the crazy figure body, except for one. She has no articulation cut here, so the ab crunch is considerably worse. Sorry. See, way worse. And the height is also shorter because I think they shorter the leg. Yeah, maybe just the shin. The accessories is also their strong suit. They come with plenty of hand swappable chest options, as well as a full suit of soft good and swappable shoes. Their hands are pretty big for their size, which can be useful for DIY military figures, since the more easily accessible firearms at this scale is from American toys like G.I. Joe, Action Force, and Operation Monster Force. These are all Action Force weapons. This is from a soda gacha box. I don't know how to call it in English. And because the handle on those figures, the American figures, are really big because their figure has pretty oversized hand, so only crazy figures can use those guns. This is great because, first of all, it fit their height better, and secondly, otherwise your option will have to be the Little Armory, which is way more expensive. They're also very compatible with Hasuki. Like this head is from the Hasuki, because you can use their head without any modification. Crazy Figure is also developing new body as well. However, if you look at the renders here, the curvier and probably more like traditional blank body. So maybe these still will have its place in the future as dedicated soft good body. It is the only one that doesn't come with any alternative skin tone. Okay, let's start looking at the newer release. The next one is going to be Fury Toys. It is definitely the most striking here with its very curvy body shape and height. It also has some pretty noticeable muscle definition here, mostly on the belly, although I wish there's more muscle definition on the shoulder and thigh. In terms of engineering, it is actually the most traditional of the bunch for the most part. You can check out my dedicated review on this body on the channel. There's no soft overlay except for the hip piece, and the butterfly joint is probably around Mayflex level. Okay, and the knee and the elbow, right? It's not very good looking. It's functional, but aesthetically could use a lot of improvement. However, the most unique thing about this body is the hip design. It is dumbbell joint and has drop down, and also the hip joint is, the side cut is either a double ball joint or a single ball joint, and the way they cut here is you can wiggle around and it can still maintain a pretty good silhouette. This is very important because I will argue that good hip articulation is what separates great female figures from just the good one. Because if you look at various statues and scale figures, in order to convey a sense of dynamic and natural feel when posed, they often use a technique called contrapposto, which is a figure posed with a asymmetry S-curve. For example, right? Something like this. And the bad example will be, once again, Marvel Legends Psylocke. The hip has no drop down, cannot close the feet, and the placement of the hip joint is wrong, and the pelvis piece is just too wide. So when you're trying to do nuance pose with her, it's gonna look very stiff. Okay, Jada can do some basic as well. Give me a second. Like something like this, but still, not nearly as good. You can cross leg a little bit. And a good example would be Amazing Yamaguchi. Even with the short design, right? Really good. Same goes for Chun-Li. It's not a very good figure, this Chun-Li, but in terms of hip design, it's pretty good. Don't let anyone tell you that drop-down hip is not good on female figures. And if the hip looks really weird, like this, like super wide, is because you didn't adjust the side cut properly, right? This looks much better, okay? In terms of accessories, this figure really feels short because it doesn't really come with much stuff unless you really count the bikini, the tie, and glass as accessories. It didn't even come with trigger finger hand and relax hand. And also, if you take off the tie, it looks kind of weird because the neck looks really long. Okay? Fury Toy is going to make a lot of figures based on this body, including, I think, called Legend series, third-party Sylvana's Windrunner, and a Succubus. That's just the things that they tease about. And if you're collecting stone collectibles, you can use some of the head as well. This is Blue Mary, okay? And this figure also comes with 3 different skin tones. All right. Next up is Nottaa. It is one of the more balanced in terms of both design and engineering. There's really not much to say here. Very good range and very solid joint. Again, you can check out my dedicated review to see more details. But the quick rundown is it used soft overlay on the torso. And the bar thread joint is like a Mayfax ball socket connected to a ball joint inside the chest. Okay, and the joint cut is the best of the 5. Just look at the elbow bend and the knee bend here. Really, really good looking knee and elbow. Okay. The only thing I don't particularly like is these hip piece. They're not necessary. Like, I don't like them on SHF. I don't like them on these Nottaa figures. And also, for some reason, the feet are really, really big, like compared to Fury Toys. They're even bigger than Fury Toys, and they're shorter, so I don't know what's the deal. And give me a second. In terms of accessories, it comes with a ton of stuff, especially if you pre-order. Pretty much all the hand you're going to need. Some of the accessories might not be as useful or just way too specific, like the hose that you should be used with the Nottaa middle-aged body, or the one-piece shin and feet that I'm never going to use. But the stuff like removable nipples can come in handy for a situation that you might not expect. For example, when you put on the soft good and the nipple might stick out and can be very distracting. And this case, you don't have to send them down. And also, you can see here, you can use the snail shell head without any modification. And the split neck and the one-piece neck is actually pretty much the same design, okay? The neck peg length is the same because there's a separate neck joint inside the soft overlay. Nottaa is also making an accessory pack for them, and more figures will be based on these bodies down the line. Oh, and these bodies come with 2 colors. No tan one. The last one is going to be wheelwork. We have previously handled and reviewed this figure on the channel before. It is called X Cowl, and it is almost the exact same body as the wearwork with some minor differences. It is very good, very articulated. The sculpt work on the muscle is great, and I would argue this is without a doubt the best 112 scale Chun-Li on the market right now. Even the Jada and Stone collectible one, Stone Arena one, is not gonna match this like at all. It is very amazing Yamaguchi inspired. You can look at how good the torso range is. Right, super good. And the Kyoto style shoulder that allow her to cross on very nicely. The angled side cut. Right? Very dynamic and explosive figure. The only thing I don't really like is that she can't cross leg because the it is a T-shaped hip joint, and there's no drop down. And the neck joint has a extra hinge on it, which can be useful if you want to use Japanese and Chinese Bishoujo action figure, because usually their ball joint, like the neck ball joint, is on the back of the hair. In terms of accessories, it is only a little bit better than the Fury toys. If you only use it for martial art and fighting game characters, it's probably enough. But anything else, she need more hand. Okay. They also come with articulated eyes, which is interesting. However, I'm not sure how useful that's gonna be. They're also currently making Cammy using a modified version of this body, and given how good this Chun-Li is, I'm very excited about that one. This figure also comes with three skin tone. Oh, and this Chun-Li is a custom kit bash by me. This is Device Driver Studio Head, emblem work Qipao kit, and 3D printed shoes. Before we end the video, let's take a look at the quick size comparison here. Honestly, although some are marginally better than the others, all 5 are really great. Like, not just simply good, really great. So frankly, you can just pick and choose whichever you like the most, purely based on the customization need or just how it looks. If I really have to, like, gun to my head, have to narrow down to one, I will probably say Nottaa, because the value proposition is the best. But my personal preference is I still like Romankey the best, because I like how dynamic it looks. Alright. Hope that I provided useful information there, and thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.